setting it up. I'm not done yet. Apparently they have like some weird thing in the back tonight, so they're all talking about it. That's gonna go on my truck. So that way my truck isn't dirty. Just an app. I saw it. The mat. We'll set it up later. We'll watch Creed 3. Okay. All right. They're coming on. So I love you, Tushy. He'll go the second you leave. Just shut the door. He's got to go, babe. He's gonna start crying. The second that I start streaming, I know this is gonna happen.
Have to shut the door with our husband. Come on, Bobby.
And we are live. What's going on, YouTube? And welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy Kevin Forte coming to you live on March 14th. Tonight's game is our featured game between the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes.
Come on, Bobby.
And we are live. We have a lot. Okay. So that should fix it. Let me know in the chat how is the audio and things like that. Alright, that should be a little bit better. Welcome to the chat, Wayne Train. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Grimmers. Thank you, all of you. It's been a little while. Long time no see. But I'm glad to see you all back here tonight. I'm having a ton of issues right now with the game stream. But I'm hoping to fix that. Come on. Alright, so that should fix it. So thank you all for joining us today. And I want to talk to you guys. So leave your thoughts. What are you guys thinking? We haven't talked since the trade deadline. I hope to discuss some things about that. So yeah, whatever you guys want to talk about. It's kind of a freewheeling stream tonight. So whatever you guys want to talk about, NHL related, we are going to talk about. So thank you all for joining us. Just letting everybody else know that we are in tonight. All right. So the Florida Panthers and the Carolina Hurricanes. There's a reason I wanted to do this game, especially because of the Florida Panthers. The Florida Panthers had an incredible game the other night. I wanted to live stream that game. It just didn't work out. But they played a hell of a game against the Dallas Stars the other day. And they were down 3 goals, ended up winning the game. And Vladimir Tarasenko is the talk of the National Hockey League right now. He was an underrated move at the deadline. Someone a lot of people, including myself, are like, he could be good, might not be so great. But this is a guy that come playoff time Tarasenko performs. He's a tough guy to play against in the playoffs. We've seen what he's done even with the Rangers in the playoffs. He is a tough guy to play against. And during the regular season, his numbers aren't always so great. But come playoff time, he is a tough guy to deal with. So Wayne Train said, how many Islanders fans will be cheering for the Rangers but not telling anyone? Probably more than they would like to admit. Yes, that's probably going to be a conversation, especially for tonight. So there you go, Mr. Poster Boy himself, Vladimir Tarasenko, is the talk of the town right now. Everybody loves Vladdy right now in Florida. Hopefully things continue to go well for him because he's a guy that's had a pretty long NHL career. Through most of my time watching the NHL, he's been a prominent player in the league, so it's nice to see him doing well, still playing to a level that is going to hopefully be worth something for him in his career and is worthy of him being talked about, which is always nice to see guys like that. Patrick Kane as well, Tarasenko, some of those now becoming veteran, older guys in the league. It's nice to see them having a modicum of success. And this is going to be a great game. These are two teams, Carolina and the Florida Panthers. Both these teams are going to be expecting to make the playoffs this year. And they both, with their positioning, are primed to make the playoffs. So this is playoff hockey for both of these teams. Carolina has been, they're holding their own. Right? They've been doing what they need to do. They lost a game to the Rangers the other night, which I'm sure they would have liked to have had back, but they've been kind of up and down. So I think for Carolina, this is a game that it's a good test for them. It's a really good Florida Panthers team who, kind of taking this to the Panthers side of things. The Panthers are really good this year, and we know that this is a team that is capable of making noise in the playoffs. 2 years ago, they were the President's Trophy team in the NHL. Things didn't go well. They got bounced in the first round. And then last year, they made it all the way to the Stanley Cup final as an 8th seed and a huge underdog against Boston. And we know how the story went for them after that. So Florida's one of those teams that if they get into the playoffs, they are a tough team to play against. And that's kind of what we're looking at here. What's going on, PJ? Supporter of the channel, PJ. Thank you so much for watching. And we appreciate you, PJ. It's nice to see you in the chat tonight. Wayne Train said, rumor has it the young cheap shot hitter asked for 4-game suspension so he didn't have to get beaten down from Matt Martin on Sunday. That's pretty funny. Yeah, so obviously he's talking about Matt Rempe, who is suspended for an elbow the other night against the Devils with Jonas Siegenthaler. And the Islanders and the Rangers do play at Madison Square Garden, a matinee game in Manhattan on Sunday afternoon. That's going to be a really good game and probably going to be a live stream. I don't want to say it right now guaranteed, but I'm expecting to live stream that game. That's going to be a really good game. We'll see how things go throughout the rest of the week. PJ said, talk about the Hannafin trade and what you think of the defender the Flames got in return. Okay, so yeah, so I think I touched on this, and maybe I didn't. Maybe that was another trade. So from Vegas' perspective, right? I mean, Noah Hannafin coming in, that's a huge pickup, right? The Golden Knights are going for it again. No real surprise to anybody, but this is a really good Vegas Golden Knights team. And now you add Noah Hannafin to that already really good team. It's incredible what Vegas has done. And, Kelly McCrimmon, I was worried that maybe him coming in wouldn't be such a good thing. That has not been the case. Kelly McCrimmon has been such a good thing for the Golden Knights. The amount of success this team has had under Kelly McCrimmon has been incredible, and they're looking to continue that up again. For obviously PJ, who is a Calgary Flames fan, what you're getting in return is, and I got to remember the player exactly, just so I have his name on hand. And we're just going to go over the exact details of the trade. Let me see if I could find it. Now, what I will say kind of sucks for Calgary here is that they weren't able to get Brendan Brisson. I think that's a prospect that they probably would have liked to have gotten. It's not the end of the world, but I would say that's a player I would have liked to have tried to get. Like I said, it's not the end of the world, but it is a guy that I'm thinking, man, that would have been nice to get in return for Hannafin. So the deal itself, right? So I believe the player here is Daniil Miramanov. So Daniil Miramanov is a name I remember pretty vividly because this is a guy that, considering the fact he is an undrafted 24-year-old defenseman, 6'4", 202 pounds. So he's tall. He's not necessarily heavy, though. He's only 200 pounds. But what you're looking at with this guy is, his numbers aren't super impressive. He does produce. He had 22 points in 31 games with the Henderson Silver Knights. This is a guy that you're hoping can become, I would say, a second or third pairing defenseman. To put him at the level of a top pairing defenseman, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be in the cards for this guy. Doesn't mean he's not going to be a good player, but the fact he's already 26 years old, he's a guy that is a hard worker from what I've heard, but I wouldn't say he is a deal-breaking guy. The one that I'm actually more interested in from the defenders that Calgary has acquired is actually who they got in the Chris Tanev trade, which is Artem Grushnikov, 20-year-old, 6'1", 198-pound, second-round pick of the Dallas Stars back in 2021. Artem Grushnikov is interesting to me because this is a guy that he is a workhorse. He's a tough guy to play against. He could be maybe he doesn't have the ceiling as much even of a Daniil Miramanov, but what you're looking at with Grushnikov is a really hard worker, really good work ethic. I think that is the guy that I'm more intrigued in terms of Calgary's defenseman prospects they got at this year's deadline. It's not taking away necessarily credit from Daniil Miramanov, but the main part of that deal was getting the first and third round picks from the Vegas Golden Knights. And Daniil Miramanov was just another defensive body to throw into the trade. So, I hate to take away credit from the guy. That's not necessarily what I'm trying to do here, but the reality is you're really acquiring the first and third round picks in that trade if you're a Calgary Flames fan. Now, like I said, Grushnikov is definitely a guy that I'm looking at, that I'm really excited about. There's been a lot of weird stuff going on in Calgary in terms of what happened with, I believe his name is Tapu Ronu. I'm definitely mispronouncing his name. Let me see if I can find him. You guys will probably let me know. I believe he was placed on waivers, right? So I would know. No, so he's not on waivers. Oh, that's annoying. Hopefully you guys can let me know who this kid is. I feel bad. Tapi Ramu, I think it is. That's going to annoy me. Tapi Rani. Thank you, PJ. So Tapi Rani was released on allegations of SA, if you can put two and two together. So I'm not going to speak much on this because it's these are allegations at this point from what I've heard. So I'm not going to make judgment on him one way or the other. But it is something that has to be mentioned because he has been released by the Calgary Flames. The Vancouver trade, they got that sick defensive prospect. And yes, we can look at that too, PJ. I think they did really good in those trades. Let me see. Is it Hunter Brzustiewicz's? I think that's his name. Right shot defenseman, 6 foot, 190 pounds. I believe they just signed this kid the other day, if I'm not mistaken. 2023, third round pick. I'm pretty sure they just signed him. Yeah, same thing for Dylan Dubé. Yeah, it's been a rough season for Calgary. It's one of those things, right? I mean, they play Vegas, I think. Their next game is Vegas tonight. So, I mean, at least you'll get to see Noah Hannafin again, right? So that's kind of nice. Not for your team, but at least you get to see him again. And what's going on, Grimmers? Thank you for joining us. Are both of our people in the chat today, is it 100% Flames fans right now? That is kind of interesting. So watching the Hurricanes and Panthers game, so far, this game is... It's going to be what you expect, right? It's going to probably be a playoff type of game. I'm expecting something like 3-1, right? Like 3-1 and the third goal being an empty netter. I'm expecting a close defensive game between both of these teams. Sergei Bobrovsky's numbers have been incredible. It's really nice to see his resurgence. And it's kind of funny to see, you know, not that long ago, we were talking about maybe seeing Sergei Bobrovsky's contract being bought out. And just to see how things have turned around for him is awesome. I love seeing those comeback stories. It's so relatable for so many people in life in general. It's really incredible to see Sergei Bobrovsky playing well, doing well, because once goalies hit 30, it's the second things start not going well for them, that's usually the end. And what a save by, wow, Freddie Anderson just made an incredible save. We see these examples all the time, right? Sometimes it doesn't take till 40, right? Marty Brodeur, it took till he was in his 40s to fall off. But the second Marty fell off, that was it. All bets were off, and that was kind of the end. And we have a nice little message from PJ. He's been a member for 9 months. Bronze member PJ said, "Goal line hockey equals the best hockey channel on YouTube." Thank you so much, PJ. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And if you would like to become a member, all of that stuff is in the description down below. If you would like to support the channel, I really do appreciate that. So thank you, PJ, for the nice words and the little, I guess that's, I don't know what that's considered. Is that just a banner? I don't know what that is, but whatever. He was able to figure it out. So thank you. Yeah, so it's kind of a tale of two stories, right? Like Florida's goaltending has figured it out, and Carolina's goaltending has been arguably their weakness, which isn't really something we were expecting to talk about this season, right? It's been a rough season for Carolina in between the pipes. You know, it's one of those things where when you have middle-aged goalies that are kind of like in the middle of their careers, maybe some of them in the twilight, things start to go wrong when there's injuries and things like that, and that's kind of what's happened to Carolina. I mean, the fact that they started off the season as poorly as they did and have come back, it's really nice to see. It's really nice to see how things have kind of turned around for them. You know, Carolina is one of those teams that I was worried if they would even make the playoffs this year, right? Back in like November, December, and they have just been on an upward trajectory since then. So Calgary, obviously we talked about them earlier, things have not gone well for them, but for Carolina and Florida, they look like some real beastly teams in the Eastern Conference that are probably going to be toward the top of the NHL standings, probably competing for a Stanley Cup. I don't know what happened there. Oh, so Gensel, I don't know what he was doing there, but Jona Gajovic, I have to give a quick shout out to him. He is a pain in the ass. He reminds me so much of like, he could be the next Tom Wilson-esque player. He's just such a pain. Every time I watch the Panthers, you always see Gajovic getting into it in the corners and, you know, in front of the net, kind of being just a pest. It's pretty funny to see him there. Calgary will draft TJ Aginla in this year's draft. That's interesting. TJ Aginla? TJ Aginla? So I guess that's Aginla's son or nephew, or I'm not sure what he is, but obviously he's related to Aginla, I would assume. So what happened to the stream? I'm not sure why. Okay, I think it's fixed. I don't know what happened there. I think it went back in time for some reason. So anyway, so looking at Carolina, I mean, yeah, I mean, Florida added Vladimir Tarasenko. Great pickup. But, I mean, adding Gensel was huge for Carolina. right? And that's not even the only move they made, but that was a big one for them. Bringing in Gensel, a lot of teams were looking at Gensel. You know, you took out competition in the division, right? With Pittsburgh trading him out, that's a win. Also kept him from the Rangers, that's a win. And you also were able to add Evgeny Kuznetsov, who I think is another great addition to the Carolina Hurricanes. And, you know, with the Hurricanes lineup right now, and I'm going to look at daily faceoff just to see their current lines right now. Carolina and Florida probably have some of the best center cores in the league right now. And, you know, that's why we saw a lot of teams really focusing on adding down the middle. Center depth is critical, especially come playoff time. Both of these teams did a real good job at adding at the deadline in the center spot. Now, let me see. I want to pull up Carolina's lines. Let's see if it can load here. My computer is so freaking slow. It is so frustrating. But I'm just going to take a blind shot in the dark. So, nope, that's Calgary. That's not what we're looking for. Carolina. Boom. Come on. You could load. Oh, so look at that. So we have a couple Calgary in the house. What's going on, guys? Yeah, so looking at the Carolina Hurricanes center core right now, you've got Sebastian Aho, right? And then you've completely rebuilt the second line, adding Jake Gensel on the wing and Evgeny Kuznetsov down the middle. And, I mean, this is a really good Carolina team, man. You've got Jordan Staal, Jesperi Kotkaniemi down the middle. And you've got Jesper Fast, Seth Jarvis, Jordan Martinook, and Stefan Nason on the wing. Really, really solid. And their defense is always good. A couple of former Caps here, right? You've got Dmitry Orlov, that's the second Capital on the team. Pesce, Burns, Slavin, and Shea. Pretty solid. And then obviously their goaltending with Anderson, Kochekov. Really, really solid overall. Now for the Florida Panthers, you know, they didn't necessarily rebuild their second line like Carolina did, but they did add some nice pieces. So, yeah, look at this. So, you've got Tarasenko on the top line with Barkov and Reinhart. Then you've got Kachuk, Lundell, and Verhaeghe, Luostarinen, Oposo. Everybody forgets Kyle Oposo came in from Buffalo. Nick Cousins, Jona Gajovic, and Kevin Stenlund with Ryan Lomberg. So, yeah, I mean, most of the moves that the Panthers made was in the offseason, right? You know, Nico Mikkola, Brandon Montour, Dmitry Korlikov, Josh Mahura, Gustav Forsling, and OEL is their defense. Those were all moves, if any, that were made in the offseason. Now, you also have to remember some of the guys that are out for the Florida Panthers. They are missing some guys here. Aaron Ekblad, Evan Rodriguez, Sam Bennett. They are missing some pretty prominent players in the lineup on a regular basis from the lineup that we already saw. So it's pretty impressive looking at what Florida's done despite some pretty big injuries to the team. So I am planning on posting more videos throughout the day, guys. My plan is to be as much as possible, maybe not every day, but doing one live stream at night, a game stream, and then doing like pre-recorded videos during the day. So that is my plan for the next little while now, hopefully throughout the playoffs. So yeah, that's what we're going to be kind of doing. And hopefully you guys will be around to watch those videos and kind of, kind of have the community back up and running a little bit. I will admit things have been a little bit crazy, specifically this week. So it's just kind of trying to get back into it. I wanted to live stream the other day. It just didn't work out. But I will live stream as much as I possibly can. Make sure you follow our community by subscribing to the channel, turning on the notifications. And like I said, in our community tab, you could actually vote for which games we are going to live stream that night. So if you're interested in doing any of that stuff, being a part of the community, that is how you kind of do it. And this is exactly what we were talking about. So now it looks like in the Panthers Hurricanes game, we're seeing a little bit of rough stuff in the corner. Again, Yona Gajovic in the middle of it. So, Kev, are the Oilers Cup contenders? PJ, I know as a Flames fan you don't want to hear me say this, but I think they absolutely are. Any team with Draisaitl and McDavid on it is going to be in that conversation. And if their goaltending can hold up and do some damage and really make some noise and be just hot at the right time, I would be afraid of the Edmonton Oilers for sure. I think it's a matter of can they beat the Vegas Golden Knights, because that is the top team in the Western Conference. And I know that they don't want to compare themselves necessarily to Vegas, but the reality is that is the team to beat in the Western Conference. So they're a team that is fairly deep. I think Adam Henrique was a huge pickup for the Oilers. I think that was a great move for them. It's the type of trade that is going to settle down this team a little bit. You add a veteran that's scored some big goals in his NHL career and adds a little bit of a matchup problem instead of it just being Draisaitl and McDavid, right? And Henrique can help them in that regard. I would like to see a little bit. I would have liked to have seen them make another trade for another forward, right? Evander Kane has been up and down. Connor Brown just scored his first NHL goal in 2 years. Corey Perry has kind of been in and out. Jan Mark hasn't been as good as we would have liked to have seen him be recently. The defense still gives me concern. It all comes down to, can you get hot at the right time? On paper right now, I don't think Edmonton is going to beat Vegas in a 7-game series. But, like I said, for the rest of the season, if they get hot at the right time, the goalies are playing super well. Stuart Skinner can do that. If things fall in the right place, they could be a threat. But I just don't think there's enough depth there. In the third and fourth line, even with Henrique there. And I just don't think their defense is good enough. I think that's a huge weakness for them. And I think once you get deeper into the playoffs against tougher teams and matchup-wise, it's going to be tough for them to kind of compete with that. And I will admit Matthias Ekholm is out of the lineup, but even with that, I just don't think there's enough there. All right. Yeah, so things are getting a little bit frisky down in Carolina. Oh my God, Natchez. That was a great redirect, but Bobrovsky's just on it right now. That was a great play, though. Damn. Yeah, Vegas won the Hanifin trade. Yeah, that's the best player in the deal, right? So you get the first, the third, and Miromanov. That doesn't equate. Well, it does equate to the total value of Hanifin, but Hanifin's a good player, man. That's a tough loss. Oilers need a veteran goalie. I don't see Skinner. I don't think Skinner is all that good. Yeah, I mean, he's had some good stretches this season. Again, come playoff time, is he reliable for like a cup contender? Probably not. But also, I remember Vegas last year, we were kind of saying, how does Vegas really have that solid goaltending? And if they get hot at the right time, it's just all you need, right? I don't know. Same thing with Bobrovsky, right? Bobrovsky was one of the worst goalies in the league 2 years ago. He's a laughing joke. And now he's making save after save and is one of the hottest goalies in the league. Goaltending is one of those positions where things can be so hot and cold in any given moment. It's really, really difficult to kind of have things not go your way. And yeah, Bobrovsky just fell back. I hope he's okay. I think he kind of embellished it trying to get a penalty, but... Now, I got to ask you guys... What did you guys think of, speaking of goalies, the Chicago Blackhawks and the Anaheim Ducks? There was a big scuffle in that game, and we actually saw Mrazek getting involved, kind of trying to unbalance out the scuffle, and then we see John Gibson come over from the other side of the ice, pull off his helmet, and he goes right after Peter Mrazek. I thought that was incredible. I wish I was watching that game live, but I thought that was great. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. Vancouver, if Demko gets hot in the playoffs, can beat Edmonton, I believe. That's another one, right? PJ is... Vancouver has been such a great story this season. I've been waiting for Vancouver to do this for the past 2 seasons now, right? It's been 3 years that I've been talking about Vancouver. They're finally getting their due. They're finally getting back up in the standings. They're finally maturing. And that damn goaltending is huge. When Demko is healthy and in the lineup, that is huge for them. Hopefully he comes back. I think he's been hurt. So as long as he's ready to go for the playoffs and he's fully healthy, Vancouver is going to be a real tough team. I look forward to seeing what Vancouver does this spring, and it gives me the vibe a little bit of 2020. I think Vancouver is capable of doing that again, where they go on a real run, and maybe it ends with a riot in Vancouver, good or bad. I think Vancouver's a real dark horse team. I think a lot of people would be surprised if they're the team to win the Stanley Cup out of Canada this year, but I don't know if the path falls where maybe they don't play Vegas in maybe the first or second round somehow. Maybe they, things fall their way. That could be really interesting. So we'll see how things go, but I'm definitely intrigued to see what happens there. Flames are not going to make the playoffs, so we should trade Markstrom. Yeah, that was a really weird situation with Markstrom. I'm not sure why they asked him to waive his no move to New Jersey and then backed out. That's not really the best thing to do. I disagreed with that decision. When you tell a player something like that, that player's going to expect to get traded at that point, and the fact that they kind of backed out of it, I don't think that was handled necessarily the best way. And I wonder if that's something come summertime where Markstrom says, I do want out. Let's get something done. So ownership did nix the trade. And PJ, let me guess. The reason they nixed the trade is because they still thought they could make the playoffs, right? And we're starting to see that is not what would have been the right move for the Flames. And it's not really fair to Markstrom now. It's a bad situation. I really wish that... Again, you would think that the management would have gone to the ownership first and tried to approve that trade before they went to Markstrom, right? I don't really understand that either. There's definitely a disconnect there. And that's just poor management, right? That's management going to the player before the deal is basically finalized. I don't think that was a great move. Can you name all the NHL teams? Oh, you're really going to do this to me. Okay. Let's see. So Anaheim, Arizona, Boston, Buffalo, Carolina, Calgary, Chicago, Detroit, Dallas, Edmonton, Florida, Los Angeles, Minnesota, Montreal, Nashville, New Jersey, the Islanders, the Rangers, the Senators, Pittsburgh, Philly, St. Louis, San Jose, Seattle, Tampa, Toronto, Vegas, Vancouver, Washington, Winnipeg. I think that's everybody. And I tried to do it in alphabetical order, but you guys will probably let me know which ones I missed, if I missed any. Flames by far have the worst ownership group in the NHL. They just care about short term and not long term, right? And that is a problem for a lot of owners in the league, PJ. I will say a lot of owners think about that first round playoff revenue. And sometimes at the cost of the team's long-term success. Absolutely. That happens around the league. I know it's frustrating when it's your team, but it does happen quite a bit, unfortunately. I forgot Columbus. Of course that's the team you forget, right? Because they're kind of the forgotten team. You forgot Columbus. Damn Columbus. Of course that's the one team you forgot. I'm one of those people where I remember the least important things, like things that have no meaning or real importance, but I remember weird things, like remembering all the NHL teams except the Columbus Blue Jackets. But thank you guys for that. Of course, I forgot the Blue Jackets, so hopefully you guys get a good chuckle out of that. So yeah, I'm trying to watch this game. The live stream is not coming in. Like, I'm trying to watch the game on a site. It's just not working. It's so frustrating. I get terrible connection in my room, which makes things more difficult, but you forgot your favorite team, Kev, the Rangers. I think I said the Rangers. I think PJ is messing with me a little bit. And Grimmers, PJ is a little bit of a troll, so he does say some kind of stupid things sometimes, but he's just messing with everybody, so it's all good. So the shots right now for Florida, 8, Carolina, 4. Both these teams, like I said, these are some of the hottest teams in the league right now. Carolina and Florida are legit teams. And right now, I think, like I said, I kind of said it earlier, but I think between Carolina and Florida tonight, this is going to be like a 3-1 game. I think both of these teams are just super, super solid right now. They're playing some of the best hockey of the season. And it doesn't matter the beginning of the season necessarily. As long as you're able to make up enough ground to make the playoffs and you're hot going into the playoffs, that's all that matters. And I'm sure that one of my Islander fans will come in here at some point. But the Islanders right now are a team to really watch. Things did not go well for the Islanders earlier this season, even like as soon as a couple weeks ago. The Islanders are a team to really watch right now. If the Islanders make the playoffs, they're going to be a real threat. I'm really interested to see how things will go. And this game's getting nasty between the Panthers and the Hurricanes. This is great. Stefan Nason in there. Tkachuk, right? These are the guys come this time of year, right? This is that hockey that we love to see. And Tkachuk, Nason, Gajovic, Luostarinen. The tough guys for both of these teams are coming out. Yeah, I would not want to play the Islanders in the first round. Absolutely. Yeah, the Islanders right now the Islanders are always known as that identity of a team that's tough to play against, especially come playoffs. They're not the most threatening during the regular season, but come a potential 7-game series against the Islanders, they are a grind. They grind you down, they work you to the brink, and by the time you get to the next round, you're going to be pretty beat. The Islanders are really good at doing that. Yeah, Postball, the new Tkachuk in Calgary. Yeah, I am really impressed with what I haven't seen too much of the Flames, in all honesty, because of where they are. But Postball, what I have seen, he's a pain in the ass. I really enjoy watching him play. Really, really excited to see the hype around him really paying off, because there was a lot of excitement around Postball coming in, and it seems like him coming from, developing from a prospect to a regular player for the Flames. Really excited to see him kind of meeting the expectations right now. Ownership and the panic of losing 2-star players. Yeah, that was a huge thing, right? Losing Gaudreau and Tkachuk. Yeah, the mismanagement in that regard, too, obviously doesn't help. It just seems to be one of those things for them where just things haven't really been going their way in Calgary recently. And it happens. Things don't go your way. Some things do go their way, right? It's very easy to forget that, they have brought in a couple of pretty good free agents over the years, right? Chris Tanev, Nazem Kadri. They were able to re-sign Jonathan Huberdeau, for better or for worse. So there are good things in Calgary. It's just when things aren't going well, it's easy to remember those things more than the things that did go well. And that's just kind of where they're at right now. So we're going to be wrapping up here in a couple of minutes. So I do want to hear if you guys have any more little things to talk about. Let me know before we close out today. I am planning on being live. I am planning on live streaming this weekend for certain. Saturday and Sunday. So stay tuned for that for certain. I'll probably do another similar short stream tomorrow, like another half hour, 40-minute stream tomorrow. So if you're interested in joining that as well, I will be here for that. Let me know in the comments down below if you're watching this live or if you're watching the playback. I appreciate all of you guys joining us here. Huberto has been playing better since the new year. Yeah, PJ, that is true. Again, same thing as kind of with Post Bowl earlier. I haven't been watching them too much, but yeah, it's nice to see Huberto kind of playing better because, again, the expectations in those Canadian cities, when you're making the kind of money that a guy like Huberto does, very high expectations. Grimmer said, do you know baseball teams? Yes, I am unfortunately, a New York Mets fan. That tells you all you need to know. So yeah, I do watch a little bit of baseball, but it's mostly hockey. That's really the team I kind of put that's the sport I put most of my focus on. And of course, I do watch college football in the fall. That's another one that I really enjoy as well. All right, guys, so we're going to be back hopefully for a longer stream tomorrow. It's just kind of a last-minute thing today, just kind of throwing things together. But I wanted to live stream for you guys, just to get back out there, just to, catch up with you guys and see how you guys are doing. Because you guys do deserve a live stream. A lot of you guys that are in here, I really appreciate you guys being in here and supporting the channel. It really does help me. It's really motivating, just seeing you guys in here. Even though I'll go long spells without posting anything, the fact that you guys are still here sticking with me, it means the world. I truly am saying that. I'm not just saying that just to say it. It really means a lot to me, and I'm glad to have you guys in here. Like I said, now that we're coming into the playoffs, my schedule has opened up a lot. I'll be able to live stream a lot more through the playoffs. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it for the trade deadline, but I will be able to do it more for the rest of the regular season and the playoffs. And I am so excited for the playoffs this year. You guys have no freaking idea. Also, if you guys are interested, I have a new collection of merch. That's in the description down below. I also have hats. I have beanies. It's getting a little bit warm. I'll probably pull the beanies down soon. So if you're interested in a winter beanie and you want to pick that up before I take it off, that is all on my Goal Line Hockey Shop. Like I said, the description of that is down below. So if you're interested in any of that, that will be available. And like I said, one last time, I'll be live streaming the next couple of nights. So stay tuned. Subscribe to the community. Make sure that you're in there so you know when I am live streaming next. And like I said, I'll be posting some pre-recorded videos in the morning and the early afternoon over the next couple of days. So we'll be doing all of that stuff. Goal Line Hockey is coming back, and it is better than ever. And that is all because of